ranked every Titan shifter from good to evil, and the one who wins the medal for most good in Attack on Titan is Armin Arlert. He's the current inheritor of the Colossal Titan and an absolute angel too. But there's one thing that definitely sets him apart from pretty much everybody else in the show. You see, pretty much all Marleyans hate the subject of Ymir, and the same is true the other way around too. Armin, on the other hand, stands out because he sees Marleyans as people and doesn't want to kill them. Frida Reis is just like him in this way. Before she inherited the founding Titan from her uncle Yuri, you could see that she had the same kind of empathy that Armin has now. I especially saw this in her interactions with young Historia. Frida knew that Historia was being neglected by her mother and took over the role. She taught Historia how to read and how a lady should behave. She is also the reason that Historia is a loving person today. As a child, Historia looked up to Frida and wanted to be just like her, aka a loving and tender person.
You think that if I try real hard, I can grow up to be like you?
No need! You're already perfect! No need to change a thing!
Frida vowed to use the founding Titan's power to save her people once and for all, but ultimately failed and was brainwashed just like the previous inheritors. But this reveals a very important plot point in Attack on Titan. Your intentions might be good, but if you never act on them, you're not really being the best person you can be. This is a huge problem with Eren Kruger. If you can remember, Kruger was able to join the Marley military and used his position to help an undercover rebel group in Marley. My only problem with him is that besides his role in this rebel group, Kruger was too scared to ever do anything else to help. For nearly 13 years, he tortured subjects of Ymir and turned them into Titans. Kruger himself confesses this to Grisha Yeager.
I've severed thousands of fingers from fellow subjects of Ymir. I've created countless Titans, from men, women, and children.
But even though he did all of this, Kruger is still a rather good person because when it came time for him to save Grisha Yeager and pass on the Titan, he delivered. Now we're talking about Pieck Finger, but she's an angel compared to the most evil person on this list. Since she's fighting for Marley, it's easy to categorize her as a bad guy. She supports Marley in their wars and fights extremely hard for them. In addition, she doesn't think that the subjects of Ymir have a chance of survival. Because of this, Pieck never really tries to save her people from persecution. But Pieck is a very good person, arguably more so than Kruger, and there's a couple reasons I think this. For one, she stated multiple times that she didn't trust Marley and only ever became a Titan shifter in order to get medicine for her father. And second, she does fight hard for Marley, but I found out that she only does this to keep her loved ones safe from harm. Just like Pieck, it's easy to look at Grisha Yeager and think he's a horrible person. He killed the entire Reis family and was such a bad father that his own son turned on him. But if you take a look at why he does all of these bad things, everything makes a bit more sense. Before killing Frida Reis and her family, Grisha begged her to use her founding Titan powers to save the subjects of Ymir. After Frida refused to do anything, Grisha had no other choice but to steal the founding Titan from her. However, I don't think he had to kill her entire family, which is why I'm putting him lower on the list. In terms of being a bad father, it's clear he made mistakes. Grisha forced his ideals on Zeke, but years later realized that he was in the wrong. Okay, now we're getting into some more evil people, but there's still nothing compared to the last person on this list. Reiner's moral journey is actually crazy. Right off the bat, he's indoctrinated by Marley to think that subjects of Ymir are extremely evil people. After 5 years of living in the walls, he realizes that this isn't true and it tears him apart because of the thousands of people who died because of him. Despite this, Reiner still continues fighting for Marley and helps Zeke wipe out the entire Scout military. While this seems pretty bad, Reiner made up for his previous mistakes in a big way. After realizing what Eren is trying to do, Reiner teams up with his former Scout comrades to take Eren down. He also makes it clear to his Scout friends just how sorry he is. Apologizing and then doing your best to fix your previous mistakes makes you a very good person. This is where Annie Leonhardt is completely lacking in my opinion. Unlike Berthold and Reiner, she never shows much remorse for the damage she caused to the people of Paradise Island. In addition, she refuses to try and save the world from Eren when Mikasa and the others need her the most. Annie says she doesn't want to help because Marley has been destroyed, but I think this all points to a deeper problem with her. Since she was first introduced in the anime, Annie has always been a withdrawn and cold individual. In moments of stress, her unstable mentality breaks out and really shows some of the problems she has.
You know, Armin, it's nice that I could be a good person for you. For now, at least, it looks like you won your bet. But I'm going to gamble too, and here's my wager!
Even worse, she has a complete lack of empathy, which is one of the major reasons she never felt remorse for her role in killing over 10,000 subjects of Ymir. Lara Tybur is way lower on this list because of her radical views. Just like her brother Willie, Lara was willing to lie about the danger of Eren in order to completely crush Paradise Island. Not much is known about her since she died so quickly after being introduced in the anime, but it's clear that she thought the subjects of Ymir were devils. In order to bait Eren into revealing himself, Lara was willing to sacrifice not only her brother's life, but also thousands of Marleyan lives as well. The evilness of the Titan Shifters only gets worse after Lara, and I'm going to be honest, there's a big jump in evilness between Lara and Eren. At the beginning of the anime, Eren started off as a passionate boy who wanted to rescue his people from the Titans. But somehow, as he grew up, he lost sight of this goal. Eren went from trying to save his people to killing over 1.6 billion people. There's only 2 billion people in Attack on Titan, which means he killed 80% of the population. Given that you're at least a little smart, I'm sure this reminds you of a certain German dictator. But here's the thing, everybody thinks that Eren Yeager is the most evil person in the series, but he honestly isn't. While he performed incredibly evil deeds, this was all motivated by good intentions. Eren's one goal is to bring peace to the world. Unfortunately, mass genocide isn't the answer to creating world peace. This guy is the most evil Titan shifter in all of AOT. But how is he more evil than Eren? Well, Eren at least had good intentions. He wanted world peace and thought he had to destroy the world in order to achieve that. Zeke, however, has completely different intentions. He believes that all subjects of Ymir shouldn't exist because the world would be better off without them. Thinking that the world would be better off without an entire race of people is pretty evil. In addition, the gift of life is the most valuable thing someone can be given. Taking away the ability of Eldians to reproduce is literally just eugenics. It's ironic because Zeke always hated his father, Grisha, for trying to force ideals on him. Yet Zeke ultimately attempted to force his ideals on his entire race. Seems like faulty logic. Speaking of faulty logic, click this video right here to find out every single plot hole in Attack on Titan. The first one might just shock you.